steal. So Thompson takes thou shalt not steal, and they say, well, except in these cases of, like, say, taxation, or property taxes, or levies, or fines, or penalties, or fees, or licenses, or permits.
Need a longer board.
Right. So that's what happens. They take this one little beautiful thou shalt not steal or thou shalt not kill and say, well, you could kill if a guy's coming through your house, or if the guy's jumping on your kid, if a guy's attacking you with a knife, but it's got to be 6 inches long. You can kill if you're a doctor and you're pulling the plug because life is going to be worthless to this 99-year-old lady. Thou shalt be permitted to kill if these conditions exist. So the codes could get this nice little simple sentence. I actually pulled up one of the sentences on one of these things I did off the internet. And I said, now, look how they codified it. They took that little, like 3 words, 4 words, thou shalt not steal. And they made thousands and thousands of billable hours. They could say, live and interpret what that literally means. This is what we believe it means. Now, if you believe that's what it means, God bless you, because now you're part of the team, you're part of our society. Now you are you're no longer an idiot. Now we have control over you. Now we have jurisdiction. Because, like I said, I did that to that poor guru I was on his radio show a couple of years ago. And I said to him, try to get jurisdiction on me. Try to get me into your court. Try to get me, you be the judge. So he thought he was great. So he could never get jurisdiction over me. So it drove him crazy because I knew what to say and I knew how to act like a man. And it drives them crazy because I said, yeah, for a competency hearing. So competent in what? Legalese? Chinese? Mandarin Chinese? Vietnamese? Korean? What Vietnamese? What legalese? Is there a law that says that I must be proficient in Chinese, legalese, Vietnamese? Is there something that says requires I, a man, to decipher your language? Is there some reason why? No, is there a reason why I can't just appear in court as a man and wait for a man to come forth with a claim that I've done wrong? Is there some reason that's not are we no longer in a common law land? Did something happen while I was asleep last night? So like I said, what happened with Bali's case is it started at 10 o'clock in the morning. We went till 12. We had lunch until 1:30. It was a long lunch because the judge was researching a lot of stuff. I knew what I must have been laying down in court. He must have been researching a lot. And that's what was fun too, is when this was a lot of fun because I could see the judge trying to comprehend that there is common law. He's taught that common law doesn't exist. He doesn't believe it. He believes the drinking a Kool-Aid just like those other colleagues for all those years too, that the common law is dead. But common just means belonging to all, like in general. So where's the other common law I got down here for you guys? Let me see if I find it real quick. Person. Plaintiff. Well, plaintiff's a fun one to be called. Civil rights, yeah, that's a funny require. I'm going to do that now. Common. Person. Person. Common. Let's just go common here. Let's just do common again. Common, there you go, common law. You folks always have a hard time with this.
I have a question.
What's that?
I have a question. There are a lot of people here that have questions for you, specific questions. Would you have time to answer them?
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not leaving until Tuesday.
That's good.
Yeah, so it says common law in Great Britain and the United States is the unwritten law, the law that receives its binding force by the immemorial usage and universal reception in distinction from written or statutory law. The body of rules, principles, and customs which have been received by our ancestors, by which courts have been governed in their judicial decisions. The evidence of this law is to be found in decisions and records of the courts. Some of these rules have originated by edicts and statutes that are now lost gone, and the terms of customs of particular grants of charters. All they're basically trying to say is, if you do a pyramid, again, if you want to do a pyramid of like law, you'll see at the very top, in Canada, in the United States, it's called customs. And you'll see statutes are down here. Statutes are down here. The customs of the people is the true law of the land. So like I say to folks, the very simplest one I do when it comes to customs and law of the land is, like, fortunately you folks live in Canada, so you know something called like Aleutians or Eskimos, and they've been up there for 10,000 years, and you don't see them, you know, all kinds of mayhem breaking loose when you go up there. They're not cannibals, they don't eat you, they don't steal from you, they don't just kill you because they got nothing better to do. They're very law-abiding people. Where do they preserve and maintain their religion, their culture, their beliefs? Do they write it on some sort of snowballs or sort of an igloo or an ice cube? Where do they record these? It's the custom. It's the pass it by word of mouth, from family to family, generation to generation. It's the common law is the unwritten law. You don't have to tell somebody you can't steal. You know, my cell phone. You can't steal that. Everybody knows you can't do that in Canada. That's why I don't mind being here. It's not a lawless society. It's like, well, you know, some places would be, and a lot of people know this with statutes. Statutes could be a lot of fun, like to manipulate statutes. Statutes are rigid. It's just exactly what they call them, statutes. Statutes are rigid. I love statutes. And people are like, why would you want to answer to a statute? I was like, I'll give you a real good reason why. Because the judge explained it to me in